Welcome to this Sunday's Gospel Reflection. I will never forget that blind man I got to know and was trying to help in a home of disabled elderly people abroad. This man spent hours pacing up and down the internal yard of the home from one side to the other. The shocking thing was that he would only stop walking after banging his head against one boundary wall of that yard, and then walk back in the opposite direction to bang his forehead again against the other boundary wall. And I can still see the big mark that had grown on his forehead because of his constant banging against the walls. We could do nothing to stop him. Bartimaeus, the poor blind beggar in today's gospel, was sitting on the side of the road. He would not dare walk on that road. His blindness actually paralyzed him. He must have been too afraid to move about for fear of hitting a wall. Very much unlike the blind man I was trying to help in that home for the elderly. Not only was he not afraid of walking across the yard, he persisted in wanting to walk, even at the cost of the pain. Neither the walls nor the pain succeeded to stop him. What made him persist in walking, rather than resign himself to his misfortune and, like Bartimaeus, settle down on the side of the road, just begging for a living? This is the miracle that happens when we discover that seeing by itself is not sufficient to walk the journey of life. It is only when seeing becomes believing that we can venture forward on life's journey. Without faith, what you see is what you get. With faith, what you get is by far much greater than what you see. This is what makes us human and therefore divine. This is how seeing with God's eyes takes us way beyond what we can see only with our human eyes. Life, reality are by far much bigger than that yard in the home for the poor, elderly, blind people. Seeing with God's eyes pulls down all the walls that limit and restrict our lives. But seeing just with human eyes will inevitably take us as far as the walls of our own prejudices, our own expectations, our own ignorance, pride, our false certitudes. These are the limits against which we constantly bang our heads. These are the high walls that restrict and limit our movements, our whole lives. Seeing is not just the ability to perceive, to touch, to feel, or to dream. Seeing is opening our minds and our hearts to welcome reality as it is given and as it comes to us. Seeing is a gift to be received and not a goal to be achieved. How many people, they remain blind because they have locked themselves up in their own convictions, ideas, opinions. They are so convinced that they possess and control the truth and lock themselves up in their own subjective, comfortable convictions. Truth and life is much bigger than us, does not depend on whether we accept or refuse it. We are all like the blind man of the gospel, paralyzed by our own prejudices, opinions, or simply arrogance. Truth is greater than what we can perceive, understand, or even accept. Seeing is opening our heart to welcome reality as it is and not as we want it to be. Only this will deliver us from being hemmed in by our smallness of mind, of heart. How blind we can be when we allow ourselves to get stuck in our opinions and prejudices. No one possesses the truth. We can welcome, we can only embrace it so that we can share it with our brothers and our sisters. Today, let us listen to Jesus asking us, "What do you want me to do for you?" Do we have the same simplicity to reply together with the blind man in the gospel, "Master, let me see again"? Like him, we have not been born blind. We have not been born just to bang our heads against the hard walls of life's challenges and trials. Let us open our hearts to life, to God, courageously, gratefully receiving what He gives us, and just as courageously letting go of what life takes away from us. Together with Bartimaeus, let us truthfully, simply, courageously beg and pray. Lord, I pray that I may see not what I want or wish to see, but opening my heart to welcome reality as it is and not as I would like it to be. It is this faith that saves us, because life is much greater than us, just as love is much greater than us. And faith is the gift and freedom to live our lives in the spirit of the game we used to play as young children. It began like this: I see with my little eyes something beginning with, something beginning with. Whatever I see, whatever I live, whatever I do is always just the beginning of something that I still have not seen, something I still have not lived. This is the faith Jesus is speaking about. This is the faith that heals our blindness. Blessed, happy are we if we accept, if we believe that seeing is always beginning to see. Because seeing is a journey and not a destination. This is faith. Let us accept the healing challenge Jesus is inviting the poor blind man. Let us accept the healing challenge Jesus is inviting that poor blind man as well as each one of us to go. Your faith has saved you. Like him, immediately our sight will be restored so that we can see and follow Jesus along the road of life. God bless you and thank you.